but like, I don't want to turn the question back on you because after all, I'm the lawyer. But look at the 6 justices that make up the conservative majority on the Supreme Court and ask yourself, which 2 of them are going to dissent in this case, right? I mean, you could easily see this being 6-3 in favor of the state of Louisiana. To get it to 5-4 the other way, you need 2 of those 6 to say this goes too far and to follow that precedent. Maybe, I could hypothesize who they are, but I think that there's a chance that this would wind up the wrong way in the Supreme Court.
Right. I mean, even on issues where, for example, Amy Coney Barrett has proven herself not as conservative as the other justices, I don't know if on this issue of religion, she's going to be deferring to the liberal bloc as opposed to the conservative bloc, whereas she, on other issues, she may have been more deferential to the left.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you look at the places in which you say, whether it's Justice Barrett or Justice Kavanaugh or the Chief Justice, who would be the 3 most likely, where you'd have to pick up 2 of those 3. Where you say they have been heterodox, where they have not always sided with the most conservative justices, it has not really been on these religious issues. That has been a pretty solid block. It's been on other really important cases. Don't get me wrong, but not on the sort of social conservative agenda. Let's put it that way.
Right.
You're not seeing those defections in those kinds of cases. And so, look, I like to think that the justices will, in fact, follow the Constitution, which would clearly prohibit this. I like to think that the justices would follow precedent upon precedent upon precedent, which would clearly prohibit this. But there's no guarantee. And part of what I worry about is that there are so many things right now that are happening that are terrible. And there are so many of them that are happening terrible that are in courts, that part of what the other side, in this case, the state of Louisiana, is counting on is that there will only be so much outrage. There'll only be so many places where people in the center and people on the left are going to be able to train their fire, and that they'll be able to sneak some of these cases through without there even being the kind of uproar that there would otherwise be. And so I think it's important that we follow these cases. It's one of the reasons why you and I do this series, and it's why we focus on this case in particular.
Yeah, and I would just note that you've also been covering them on your own YouTube channel, Democracy Docket. If everybody watching is not yet subscribed, please, it doesn't cost you anything, completely free, but help elevate Marc and his team's voice by subscribing to Democracy Docket.